Welcome to the Service Area Annual Budget Workshop. Today's Tuesday, August 18th. It is now 10:07 a.m. I am Alex Georgiadis, Service Area Director. Beside me here is Service Area Administrator Delise Rodriguez. Joining us online, we have Jacob Waddle, General Manager. Also online, we have Ray Febres, Finance Manager. Joining us online from the committee, Brian Granica. And joining us in person from the committee is Matt Linter. We don't have a quorum, but the meeting will be for discussion purposes only. Just fine. And let's get started. Start going through the budget. High level, any major questions or anything that stands out to you?
I'd like to discuss the couple of lines on landscape, not in contract, trees, not in contract. What are included in those lines, and depending on that answer, maybe we don't have enough money. And like, sadly, Jacob, you know this, CCD hasn't done their job for a long time on trimming the trees that they own. So it's unfortunate that whether it be Crowa or Parkview or Artisan Park have to spend their own money to trim their trees, right? There are a few trees that are really out of hand I would like to remove altogether, and plant something sensible in its place. And some need a good haircut, because everybody remembers, and including a couple of neighbors this morning that I saw, how there used to be enough sunlight, even on Artisan Avenue West, so that stuff grew. And I said, anybody who's on Artisan Avenue West is impacted by the trees on the Artisan Park side of the sidewalk and their own, both of which belong really to CCDD, and that's unfortunate. But we have, then if no one does anything, we just create a jungle, Jacob, and we need to spend somebody's money. I'd like to send the bill to the chair of CCD and get it paid, because that's who it belongs to. Whatever nonsense they told Crowa in the past, maybe we'd get their attention if we chop down a few trees. I'd like to get their attention, actually, Jacob, because I find their behavior unacceptable. But nevertheless, I think we need to put more money. And if trees mean replacement of trees or trimming trees.
Anything. So what we did there, we jumped up quite a bit with not in contract work. So we're at 6,500 this year, went up to 11,000. I didn't touch the tree number. Putting it in the non-contract number gives us flexibility. So it could be plant material sod, or we could throw trees in there.
Either one.
Flexible.
Do you think that's enough of a number, or do we need more?
I mean, that's a good jump right there. I would say let's do incremental and use that number and play with it as we see fit. Let's do a trimming this year also, see how far we get at the budget. I mean, we got a number from Brian of like 15,000, which is to do everything, a full job, which I don't think is necessary. So I went through and selected per address specific trees that require just encroachment off the home. That's our first phase. We're not looking to open up what they call windows and thinning, correct. Just encroachment off the buildings is our first pass with tree trimming. So I'm waiting for a price on that, and let's see where we are with that, and then we'll have a good gauge of how to move forward.
The last contractor who actually did the work was a company in PTC. Have we reached out to them? Because they might be more competitive, or a greater price, but a better price for more tree trimming, right? Something in the middle. Get a little more.
In theory, not theory, we do have tree trimming through all service areas, so it would be a big job if we could give it out to one person.
Right, I get you. Right,
for sure. I'll reach out. Brian, any input on out of contract landscaping versus trees?
No, it just needs to be. They just need to be trimmed up and maintained, right? I don't want to see any money spent on anything being removed or whatnot, right? Let's just maintain them. Let's just trim them up and move forward with that right now.
Okay, good. General maintenance, we bumped that one up from 500 up to 1,000, and it's just typical. Like we lump these things. We have roof repair also, but just like eaves repair, gutter repair. That general maintenance gives us flexibility to do different jobs. So it's sort of a.
I saw somebody's house, my old house, eave, looking at eave repair.
We just fixed one, this week.
Yeah. Okay.
How much down? I think 600. Okay. 750 for an eave repair. I mean, like small section, maybe 6 square feet. But
Wow.
it's just a matter of getting up there, replacing. I mean, the labor is the cost there. So
Other match?
yeah, exactly. What else? Gutter, repair. We didn't have anything in there. We put 1,500. Again, we've had a couple of those come up, so that's why we had it there. Just as a sort of placeholder. We see those things coming up. It's, if you want to trim it a little bit, that's one option there. What other item did we add? Spring pressure washing. That item, we did it going after the conversation of 2 flats per year, and then I just did a 5% increase. If we do indeed want to go with that, doing 2 flats instead of 1 per year.
I mean, fall and spring.
Well, we have spring, which is a full in the
Right.
entire, but then we had a conversation of doing flats 2 times 3, just to eliminate a little bit of the load on the homeowner. So if we still want to go that route,
I think we
that
should.
money was allocated there. Jacob, do you see any issue with that? Just doing a second flats in addition to the full?
Yes, if you're willing to manage it, then that's all right. It's not inside the scope of to manage or inside the scope of the service area to do. But if it's a committee recommendation to do so, and we're willing to move forward with that recommendation and supporting it, then you can.
Brian, you still on board with that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Good. And Brian and Matt?
I am too.
Yeah, okay. I'll just shoot an email to the other committee members, make sure we're all on board, because it's a substantial change basically from scope of work for our service area, make sure everyone's in agreement.
Right, but once we do some tree trimming, getting the trees off the sidewalk, then there'll be more sunlight, and that will help the mold
With the
and
discoloration.
mildew
Mhm.
problem on the concrete. So it will start to keep it looking better for a longer period of time.
Okay, good.
That's part of the reason why we want to do all of these things.
What else? Going down, reserve allocations. We dropped that down because we had the savings with the balcony. I mean, it's not a total savings because we were
Right.
applying that to the easement. So some of the easement work is coming out of that.
Okay,
And then just looking forward for this year, basically for reserve expenditures, we're looking at landscape, which is normal, and we're shooting for 14 easements. So it's about 33,000 roughly. Unlikely expenditures for this year, we have balcony, vinyl fence, railings, and shutters. Again, not to say that that's 100% savings, but it's a deferment for now.
right,
And then we roll that over into next year and
Right.
have the paint, we're gonna have landscaping, and then some more easement work likely. And then I would say after the paint is done successfully and we don't encounter any unexpected expenses, we could look at our reserves and, it would be a discussion for next year, basically. See where we're tracking with our reserve study. We'll also be doing a reserve study next year. So some of these numbers might get updated. I'm the thought that the prices are gonna go up, I'm imagining, 3 years ago, the estimates, 5 and 10 years down the road. So we'll take all that data together, and then we'll look at the budget next year, where we are with existing reserve balance plus reserve study moving forward. Any questions or input on that?
No, I just have one. You talked about some costs going up and so forth, and I know that there's some re-roofing being done down near Heritage Hall.
South Village, yeah.
Has there been any discoveries made about what the level of inflation might have been? Has there anything been unexpected with those costs?
I mean, only actually now in the past 6 months, with this whole Iran thing, there were a couple of jumps. I mean, 10%, but we locked it in. But I wouldn't call it significant per se. But
Alex,
That
you're
doesn't
still
mean anything
well
going forward.
under. You're under the reserve allotment for it, correct? By a fair
Yeah,
amount,
correct.
I thought. Yeah,
correct.
and that's by
Yeah, I mean, we have,
the same. So that was helpful to know because we were concerned that the funding level was going to be short.
And we have a third-party inspections engineer included as
Mhm.
well.
on those white buildings near Heritage Hall
Across the
that are
street.
getting phased up to do a roof.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah, I mean, most of our projects we are tracking. The one that was really off was the balconies for whatever reason. That was entirely off. But right now, painting with us, roofing in that other service area, we seem to be somewhat in line, which is a positive sign.
Yeah, no, I mean, because we were caught last time with our roofing short, so we just want to make sure that, I know it's a
Right.
ways out yet, but as you said,
If
the
it's a big number,
variability
we
that
have
we're
to
dealing
build
with.
up to it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Agreed,
So-
agreed.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
mean, you even added some extra, not extras, but some, additional items to prevent runovers on that project, including full plywood replacement instead of just a partial allowance. You upgraded the liner underneath the
Yep.
top.
We did a peel and stick, exactly.
Yeah, the
instead of
peel and
just,
stick. And so and
exact
it still came in, and we third partied out the engineering and review of that. And it's still in under budget from the reserves, which was, like we said, which was good. That was it's been a concern of mine for years. So seeing this first project after these reserve studies where we
These
printed
ones
come
don't
in.
cross by heritage.
Correct, correct. And then next year we have some more roofing, more painting projects in other service areas. So we're gonna have a good gauge, good indicators of where we
And your
stand.
rain war's not gonna last forever.
Something else will come up though,
Maybe.
What was I gonna ask? Oh, we have $8,000. Just Ray wants to confirm with you a reserve catch up. That's still pending. We add that item into operating just to pay it off basically next year, over the course of the year. That's still in effect, Ray. We have that $8,000 that's sort of in limbo there, or it's a placeholder really.
Yeah, well, the operating owes reserve $20,000. I think $8,000 was to just like start shipping
okay,
at
so
it
we're-
at that. Yeah,
We did a
Yeah.
3-year plan for that basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
And-
So far, I
Um,
think we're gonna be
reserve
able to
catch-up.
contribute.
Decline
I
of-
think we're gonna.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
where does it rise from?
Oh, so basically, do you know, what's the history on that? It's 24,000?
It was actually 40,000 when I got here. It was a debt of $40,000. That operating owed reserve $40,000. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm assuming that certain reserve allocations, monthly allocations, weren't done in the previous years, and the auditor caught that, and they added that entry on the 2024 audit report. Last year, we were able to lower that number from $40,000 to $20,000, and we're expecting to do something similar this year if we have enough savings not to affect the day-to-day operation.
Okay,
We'll keep transferring funds to just clear that debt out. And those $8,000 that were added to the budget is to kind of like build in that fund there in case we don't have enough
Got it.
savings to cover everything. Then we can use those $8,000 and continue repaying the debt.
right.
That's the assumption. Break it up into
And the
3.
worst habit, how it got there is to, if you agree with the makeup of the reserve study, right? And the inflation rate of the reserve study, we should fund it at 100% and just never say, oh,
Deviate.
we're gonna kick the can down the road, leave it for some other group of homeowners who will own that home in several years and fund it less than 100% of reasonably suggested reserve study.
Correct.
And we will look at it.
Yeah.
I will look at it when we get the new one, make sure it makes sense engineering wise and economically, right?
Absolutely.
And then we're just gonna fund it, you know?
Simple.
And I know I've heard lots of stories, I won't say from who, but I know who, right? And wanted to fund it less than 100% because they had in mind that they would be retiring or leaving the neighborhood and didn't want to pay 100% of the required sensible number. We should not ever
Mistake.
consider doing that again.
No, I'm gonna be here forever. It wasn't me. So,
No, I know, I'm not gonna say an embarrassed person who's not here but to defend themselves, which they can't.
I do have a question. You know, when we've got the trees, we got the landscape contract and so forth, should we consider, or is it possible for us to start adding tree trimming into the landscaping contract?
As part of their scope, I mean, I don't think they'll include it because it's sort of an unknown, unless you count up your trees and you estimate X per tree. Go ahead, Jacob.
I would say no, because
Okay.
most landscapers in celebration that I'm aware of will only do the ground level tree trimming. So it's the up to 12 or 14 feet. When it goes above that, they typically contract it out. So if you put it in your contract, you're going to then pay
Third party.
them to contract it out, where typically we see it where we bid it out to any contractor we want. We have to manage the project then, but in that sense, you're avoiding that opportunity for an upcharge.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Thank you, sir.
I was talking to Brian about that. He said the insurance requirements are just out of hand, so they outsource it. That does make sense.
Right, that makes sense.
They don't have enough volume of that.
But we still have money in the budget, not in their landscaping contract to do it. So the difference, put money in the budget so that we're putting money away in operating budget to take care of tree trimming.
Agreed.
Not that we're gonna contract it out to Brian so we could give us a bonus charge on top of it.
Exactly. So the way we're looking at it now, it's just about 4,500 for tree trimming, and we're upping another, it looks like 4,500 in the non-contract. So between those numbers, I mean, you have up to $10,000 at least additional.
Okay.
But again, let's see how we're doing, because we're doing a lot of plant replacements this year. So hopefully next year it won't be as intensive, and we could maybe apply a lot more of that towards trees.
Okay, because I know the issue you were talking about, Brian, earlier is irrigation. If you plant good material, but the irrigation is working it up to par.
Yep.
That's its own separate problem.
Yep, agreed. Any other questions, input?
None for me.
So,
How is this, just to add, so I know, how is the Crow administrative fee calculated?
Jacob will jump in on that.
So last year was the first year that we actually put some work into that. Before, we didn't have a true answer on the calculation of it. So last year we did that. What it collects is a percent. It was a kind of a time study that was done, and it collects a small percentage of my time, even smaller percentage of Lauren's time, a small percent of the resident service manager, because they handle the processing of the water and electrical bills. A fair percentage of raise time, because the 14 different accounts inside the service areas, and then 100% of Delisa's and 100% of Alex's time. So then that is calculated to a dollar amount for the compensation, including the benefits and everything that are tied to the real managed
Loaded.
contract through CROA. And then that dollar amount is split evenly between every door inside the service areas. 616. Oh, a few more actually went up, but yeah.
Okay.
Very good. So
Thanks,
management's
Jacob.
recommendation will be the 1629.93 per quarter, which is 543.31 per month, which is an increase of 20.48 per month. That will be management's recommendation to the board, which will be presented on August 26th. Unless there's any other formal recommendation. All set?
I don't have any problem.
You guys are great.
Excellent.
What's that?
I said, you guys are great. You understand it. It wasn't a whole lot of back and forth on just explaining how it works. So I appreciate it.
All right.
No, it's
Well,
good.
thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time, and have a great day.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.